Hello everybody, this is CSS Lesson 11 and we're on page 1. Now in the previous lesson we worked through the introduction to CSS where we changed our font colors, our font sizes, background colors. So what we're going to be doing now is not really text related. We're going to be changing the width and the height of our images. We're going to change margin, information, border width. We're going to do style, border color, border radius, background color. We've already done a little bit with that. And then we're going to use the float CSS rule. Okay, and just remember that the values is what changes, and it's important that you put the semicolon at the end. It's very important that you do that. So let's go ahead and click continue and let's get started. So page 2, it says to look through your web page below for new styles. Open the style sheet. With your partner, you need to discuss anything that makes it look different. How are the images positioned to the left of the elements? So you'll see that the images are on the left of our paragraph. Yours is going to look different. I'm going to go ahead and click restore this version. See if it takes it back to the beginning. Nope. Okay, so what I did is I restored this to the original, so yours should look like this. Okay, so basically we're going to look, you'll see we have a background color that is blue, and then we've got our text, our title, our heading, and you've got our images, and you'll see the corners around it, and we have a border, and then you'll see that our images are on the left side of the paragraph, and you'll see the paragraphs are in a cursive writing. Okay, so that is the way your screen looks. So let's go to our style sheet and let's look at what's going on here. So within our body section, the background color is light blue. Anything you put in this body section is going to apply to the entire web page. Okay, so you'll see that on my index, it has the blue background, and any other HTML documents that I have will have a blue background as well, as long as it's linked properly. Okay, so under H1, our headings, our H1 headings, the color, we want them to be saddle brown, it's in H1, and the font family, sans serif. Now our H2, we want it to be sans serif and saddle brown. Sans serif, saddle brown. Our images are floating to the left of our paragraphs. The width is 250 pixels wide. The margin is the space around your image. That's 10 pixels. We want the border color to be saddle brown, to be 4 pixels wide. We want it to be solid, and the border radius to be 10 pixels, and that's what makes your border rounded. And then you've got the paragraph. All the paragraph is aligned left. The font family here is Fantasy actually, and the size is 14. Okay, so that's what we're working with beginning. So we're going to click Finish. Okay. So now, find the code in the style sheet that is making the background of the entire page light blue. Change the code to make it a different color, and then change the background color of just the paragraphs. So let's go to Style Sheet. So our background color, instead of light blue, I am going to type in pale violet red. You can choose any color, and you'll see that I have the color here. Now, since I have brown text, saddle brown. If I just want my background color to be brown, I cannot read my text. So it's important that whatever background you choose or whatever colors you choose, that you can read them very easily. Okay? So I do not want brown. I'm going to go back to the pale violet red. Okay, so now I've changed my background. Then it says to make the paragraphs a background. So let's go down to our paragraph rule set. And we've already got our paragraphs text aligned to the left. The font family is fantasy and the font size is 14. So we're going to add another rule, and this is going to be background dash color colon, and let's see, I'm going to use Azure here, and then the semicolon. Do not forget the semicolon. Okay, now you will see what this does to my paragraph. It changes the black back of it. Okay, and that's what you should do. I'm done with page 3. Let's go to finish. Now body styling, again, this is the body rule set, and anything that you put in this body is going to apply to all of the elements within there. So every bit of text that's in the body is going to be centered, and the color is going to be blue. And then if you put in a paragraph, the paragraph, whatever you put in there, is going to take precedence over that. Okay, so now we're going to find the body rule set in the style sheet, and we're going to do text align, color, body rule, and try out some of the different properties to check your guesses. Alright, so we're going to add in the body rule set, we're going to add text align, colon, space, and I'm going to center it. Okay, now what happened is, normally anything you put in your body tag, your body rule set, it's going to apply to everything on your body, even these paragraphs here. Okay, so when I did center, the only thing that moved is this heading here. So if I do left, only the heading moves to the left. If I do right, well, the heading and the H1 and H2s move. Okay, so I'm going to go back to center. So just only the headings to go center, because you have a text align here. H1 does not have a text align. H2 does not have a text align. It doesn't affect. Well, your image is a float left, so that's already defined. Now, the paragraph, it was already text aligned to the left, okay? So no matter what you change this up here, it's not going to affect it, because paragraph has its own rule to tell it what to do, okay? So this is the main part, and it goes down in order, okay? So now let's change our... you'll see the background color is pale violet red. And we did background color azure. So let's delete this out. And when I delete this, the paragraph color is going to be this pale violet red. So that's how that works. Alright, so we're going to move and finish. Let's go to page 6. Now we're going to be working with these borders. Alright, so we're going to change the color of our border, and we're going to change the border style. So let's click on Style CSS, and let's go to our image, because we're working with our images. And border color is saddle brown. So I'm going to change my border color to red. That does not look good. So maybe orange. Nope. All right, fire brick. So you need to find a color that's going to look good with your background. And since I did the pale violet red, all right, that looks pretty good. All right, so I did Rebecca purple for the border color. Now my border width is 4 pixels, so I'm going to change the 4 to 20. And you see it's a larger size. I can go back to 15. I can go to 5. Okay, so I think that looks good. Now my border style is solid. I want it dotted. And then I'm going to come back here and change my bullets. So you can, or my dotted size, pixels. Let's come back to 5. I'm going to make that 5 pixels. I want it dotted, or you can do dashed. Okay, you also have solid and double. And then the border radius, right now it's 10 pixels. So I'm going to delete that out. I'm going to type in 150. Watch how it turns more into an oval. Okay, so that's what the radius does. It changes the corners of it. So what if I do 75? 175, 75. Okay, what about 50? Okay, I like 50, so I'm going to leave that there. So we've looked at border color, border width, border style is dash, border radius, float. We'll get to that in just a little bit. And the width and the margin, we'll do that in just a little bit. Okay, so that's what we did. Now with the paragraph, let's add a border to our paragraph. So let's go down and let's go to border color, and I'm going to make that black with the semicolon. And border width, and I'm going to do a thick border, and I'm going to refresh and save, and it's not working. Oh, you got to tell it the border style. Border style. I'm going to do a double. Yeah, that's why. Okay, because I couldn't get it to work, but it didn't know what kind of a border you wanted. So what if I just do dotted? Okay, and that's too busy. I don't like that, so I'm just going to delete out these borders here. I do not want a border around my paragraph. It just doesn't look good. And that's it for page 6. Let's go to finish. All right, we've already looked at border radius, but again, let's go to CSS. And for our border radius, remember you can change your numbers. Right now it's at a 50 or whatever you put it in as. And if I do 200, you see that it changes that for me. Okay, that's what border radius does. All right, click finish. Okay, float. We're on page 8. So I'm going to style. And right now my image is floating to the left. That means that my image is on the left of the elements. So what if I do right? See how my images flip-flop and go onto the right side of the text in the information? So that's what float does. It just floats it either to the left or to the right. No matter where you go, your images are always going to float to the right. And you can also do float to the top, I think. Yeah. So I did top, and it's going to make sure all your images move to the top of the text. So I'm going to put it back at left because that's what I like. Alright, so that was for image. I'm going to click finish. Page 9. Find the property in the style sheet that controls the width of the images. Style, we're going to go to images, and width is 250 pixels. Change the width of the images to be larger or smaller. Then we're going to create a new rule with height property to control the height of the images. And then we're going to add width in the paragraph rule set to change the width of your paragraphs. Okay? So with our image right now, it's 250 pixels wide. So let's make these a little bit smaller. So I'm going to go down to 200. And they all line up a little bit better. Okay? And I'm going to change my radius because I do not like it that large. So I'm going to do 10. And my border width, I'm going to make it a 3. Yeah, that looks a little better. And I'm going to change my color to yellow. I'll make it stand out just a little bit, maybe yellow-green. Okay, that looks good. Alright, so I'm just kind of playing around with it to make sure it looks good. Let's change this to okay, the salmon looks good, but I want to change my salmon. Dark blue. Okay, it makes it stand out a little bit better. All right. So, that's what I did there, but we need to work with height and width. So I want my width of my images, I moved it down to 200. Now I'm going to add height. So I'm going to, at the end of width, I'm going to hit the enter key, H-I-G-H-T. And you don't have to do this, but you can click auto and it automatically adjusts the width according to what is already there. But I'm going to do 500 px. Now you see how it distorts my images? That does not look good at all. So be careful with that. You want to make sure that they're not all messed up there. You want them to look good. Okay, I'm going to do 125. Okay, I think that looks good. Nope. I'm just going to delete out height altogether because I like the way the paragraphs move to the right of and everything's lined up. Okay, and let's see. Now we want to add a width in the property rule to change the width of our paragraphs. So WIDTH, and we're going to do 150 px. And I do not like that at all. Let's see. 50. Nope. Okay, I do not like any of that, so I'm just going to put it back on. I'm going to delete out the width. Okay, it's because I like the way that looks. Okay, but you know how to add property width and the height to that. Let me show you something on pixels. Okay, let's go to images. These are pixels. All these little boxes here are pixels. 1 pixel, 2 pixel, 3 pixel, and so on. Okay, so that's how they determine. These are all little small boxes, and each box represents 1 pixel, and that's how they determine how wide your screen is. So let me find an image, something that'll be easy to count. Okay, Mario here. Now you can look at this, and we want to determine how wide it is and how tall it is. Okay, so we're going to start with width. We want to look at the left side and the right side. Let's go from here. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So this image is 16 pixels wide. Okay, from left to right, wide. Now let's count from top to bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, and then we get this 26. Okay, so it is 26 pixels tall. Okay, so that's how they get that. Each little box represents a pixel. So here, that's why our border width is just 3 pixels wide. That's how we do that. So let's click finish. Page 10. Find the margin property in the image rule set. Change the margin to be larger and discuss the effect with a partner. Choose another element type and give it a margin too. Alright, so we're going to go to style. Let's go to our image, and then for margin, I'm going to delete that. So for margin, right now it's a 10 pixels. Margin is the space going around your image, or the space going around your heading 1, around your heading 2, around your heading 3, and so on, or around your paragraph. Okay, so we're going to change the margin pixels, and I'm going to do 50. So watch what happens to our images. It gives you 50 pixels margin around your image, and nothing can come into that margin. It's kind of like a force field that goes around it, and it's 50 pixels wide, and it won't let your paragraph or anything else go into it. So if I do 25, it brings it in a little closer, and the original was 10, which looks good. So let's add margin around our paragraph, and let's do 200 px. Make sure you add px, and you'll see how it just distorts our web page. It does not look good at all. So we're putting 200 pixel margins around our paragraphs. So let's try 150. Nope. 15. We can leave it at 15. That looks fine. So that's what margin does. Click finish. Alright, so we've looked over background color, sets the color of the element, border color, color of the border, border width, changes the border width of an element. So if you specify a border, how wide it is, how many pixels, make sure you include px for pixels. Border style, what kind of border do you want? Dash, dotted. Width, height, float, and margin. So we went through all of those layout property elements. Click continue. Now what you need to do on this page is, these are properties that we've learned how to use. So you need to choose at least 3 to use in your style.css page. So use at least 3 of these and add values. Don't forget your semicolons. And this is an image rule set, so you'll need to add this at the bottom, and then you can go in and choose what you want to use for your values. So you are to choose more than at least 3 and put it anywhere you want to, but add more if possible, just to explore. And that's it. So make sure you finish up lesson 11, pages 1 through 12, and let me know if you have any questions.